The indictment of former President Trump on criminal charges is certainly a historic first. Obviously, there are sweeping implications for the 2024 presidential election and beyond. And Republican leaders have criticized the president on his weaponization of the federal government, law enforcement. And what does all that weaponization ultimately mean? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Randy Weber. He serves on the House Committee on Energy and Commerce, as well as the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. He represents the 14th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Weber, always great to see you. Welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. Great to see you. We appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you so much. Well, listen, let me just begin. Your reaction to the indictment of former President Trump.
It is unbelievable, Jody, when you think about it. First time in American history, a former president has been indicted. And on the heels of them trying to keep the DOJ has been weaponized. Now, the rank and file folks of the FBI and the DOJ, I want to make this clear, are good people. But the upper echelon did everything they could to keep Trump from winning that election. You know that. You saw the text messages. You saw the things they were doing. Ask yourself these questions. Did Biden take classified materials when he wasn't even president? Check. Did Mike Pence have classified materials, not the president? Check. Did Hillary Clinton have hundreds of classified docs on her computer when she wasn't even president? Check. Did Hillary Clinton destroy the very evidence the FBI was seeking for? Check. Did FBI Director Comey give her a pass? Check. Did the FBI upper echelon take a fake dossier to the FISA court paid for by Democrat money? Check. The DOJ has been weaponized, Jody. I don't see how you come to any other conclusion.
Well, listen, that is extremely well said, and you just laid it out for us. I don't see how you come to any other conclusion either, and that is what's so frightening about all of this. Look, we all know that no one is above the law. A Lady Justice is supposed to be blindfolded, and justice is to be served regardless of political affiliation or any other category. It is to be blind, and everyone is to be treated the same. But is it your belief, it sounds like it is, and I just want this to be confirmed, that in this case, it appears that the president, former President Trump, this is targeting a political opponent? Let me just get down to it. Is that what this appears to be to you?
Well, absolutely it is. And for those people who say, well, it's not really about politics, think about this. It's a banana republic is what we're embarking upon down this path if we keep going down it, if it's not too late already. Think about it. The day that I think President Trump announced he was going to, or then Citizen Trump announced he was going to run for president, you had members of Congress, you had people really even in the news saying he will be impeached, the first day he gets in office. Do you remember that, Jody?
I remember that well. I sure do.
You were here, you were in, bless your heart, and you've gone back to the real world. But you remember that. I mean, there was a Democrat named Al Green, I think, that filed a motion to impeach President Trump right after, his tenure began. This is crazy that the political machine, call it what you want, the Democrat machine, has been after Trump, and the news and the liberal left news has been after Trump since day one. It's very, very scary for the American public and the American way of life.
It is scary, and let me take it to another level, and I bring this up because you brought it up. But what are we to make of the indictment of President Trump when you have other political figures who have had classified documents, be it in their garage or in their private email server or whatever, and like you mentioned with Hillary Clinton, destroyed supposedly tens of thousands of emails and no prosecution? What are we to make of all of this?
Well, it's a double standard that people of America ought to rise up, because Clinton herself stuck her finger in the eye of the American public. You'll remember this. Not only did she destroy the classified documents, they took hammers to their phones. They tried to destroy the computer that they were stored on, and they used what's called BleachBit. I had never heard of BleachBit until back then. And then she was asked about it in the media, and she laughed. Oh, you mean that I put bleach on my computer? And she laughed about it. They're making a mockery of the American system.
Well, what is so fearful is it's no longer a potential. We are witnessing the unfolding, the laying out of a two-tiered system, where if you are part of the political party of choice, then you can pretty much get away seemingly with all sorts of things. But if you are a political opponent, then watch out. We're coming after you. And I think many people are even fearful that that's part of what's behind 87,000 or whatever the number is going to be, new IRS agents who are potentially going to be unleashed on, who knows, conservatives?
Well, that's all part of their plan. Of course, I often have said for many, many years that IRS stands for Infernal Revenue Service, and people ought to be really, really skeptical about them. And look, it's not just the FISA court warrant that we saw what was going on with the weaponized DOJ. Think about it. Even when Joe Biden was vice president, he literally bragged on TV that the Ukrainians, you want to talk about quid pro quo, pay to play, that the Ukrainians didn't fire the prosecutor that was investigating the company his son worked for. By the way, he got millions of dollars to that company without any experience in energy. But no, notwithstanding that, I mean, that's just a minor detail, right? But anyway,
Yes.
Bragg that he told them if they didn't fire that prosecutor, that Ukraine would not get $1 billion with the B dollars. And then he uses that cuss word, says blankety blank. What do you know? They fired that prosecutor. These guys, and yet there's also now indications that Biden's been taking money from foreign entities in exchange for, it's called pay to play. It's okay if they do it, but boy, Trump should not do anything. He shouldn't get out of the straight and narrow because they're going to come after him, and they've been coming after him. This is yet the most stringent, I would call it egregious, evil act they've done toward Trump.
I couldn't agree anymore. In fact, I think we're going to try to pull that clip up that you referenced a little bit later on in the program. Congressman, before you leave, I just want to get your take. Of course, you're from Texas, a great representative from Texas. And earlier today, your governor, Greg Abbott, announced that he is going to install a floating border along the Rio Grande to deter migrants from crossing the river into the U.S. illegally. What do you make of this?
Oh, it's absolutely warranted. The sad part about it is why should the state of Texas, the citizens of Texas, Texans, be having to pay to protect the southern border that the United States has a responsibility to protect? I hope that we get completely back in power of the Republicans, and that when we have passed an appropriations bill, we repay Texas for all the money they've spent protecting the southern border, because it's not supposed to be the state of Texas's responsibility. It's supposed to be the federal government's. I was in the State House 4 years on the Borders Committee. I can tell you things about the southern border that would make your head spin. It is that bad down there. It's worse. And then it was that bad. It's worse now. And once again, the federal government, run by the Democrats, is, in my opinion, seeking to destroy the way of life that we have enjoyed for a long time.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I just looking at that barrier across the river, I thought this is brilliant. I know there was one of the sheriffs in Maverick County who actually said that they discover drowned victims nearly every day, and that this is going to help save lives. So very interesting what's going on. Congressman Randy Weber, thank you so much for your leadership there in Congress, and we're grateful for your coming on the program this evening.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate it.